Question number 3. Order. Order. Question number 3, the Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Finance. How is the stronger New Zealand economy supporting more jobs and higher incomes?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Finance, there are a number of indicators confirming that the stronger economy is translating into more jobs and higher incomes. They range from business confidence and employment intentions running at the highest levels for around 20 years, and the number of job ads on the SEEK website increasing 13% to almost 24,000 in January. Just last week, Statistics New Zealand issued the labour market data, which confirmed further growth in jobs numbers and real wages, and a decline in the unemployment rate from 6.2 to 6% in the December quarter. They are all further signs that the government's economic program, including the business growth agenda to help businesses invest, grow and employ more people, is working successfully as we recover from the GFC.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Supplementary to the Minister of Finance. What did the official labour market statistics say last week about growth in jobs during the period to December 2013?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
On behalf of the Minister of Finance, the Household Labour Force Survey confirmed that employment increased by 1.1% in the December quarter. That means 24,000 more New Zealanders were in jobs in that quarter alone. For the year to December, the news was also positive. Between the December quarters of 2012 and 2013, employment increased 3%, meaning another 66,000 New Zealanders were in work compared to a year earlier. That's the strongest annual increase, Mr Speaker, since June 2006, again confirming that the government's economic program is heading in the right direction for the benefit of New Zealand families.
Fantastic. Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
Supplementary question. What other indicators in the labour market statistics issued last week provided further evidence that the improving labour market is helping more New Zealanders to get ahead?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Finance, apart from the lower unemployment rate and the strong increase in new jobs, another positive indicator is the continuing growth in wages. The quarterly employment survey is the best source of wage movements, and that's why it has been used by successive governments as the basis for setting, for example, paid parental leave and New Zealand superannuation. Using this measure, average weekly earnings rose by 2.8% over the year to December, while inflation was only 1.6%. So on average, wages are continuing to rise faster than inflation. The gains are even more significant when measured on an after-tax basis. The average weekly earnings after tax, they don't want to hear it, have gone up 25% since September 2008, compared to inflation of just 10% over the same period.
Supplementary question, Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
How has the growth in new jobs over the past 4 years, as reported by Statistics New Zealand, compared with Treasury forecasts issued as part of Budget 2010?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Finance, in Budget 2010, the Treasury forecast there would be 174,000 more jobs in the economy over the 4.5 years to June 2014. I'm pleased to report we are tracking pretty close to that forecast, which I remember opposition parties dismissing at the time as way too optimistic for New Zealand. Actual employment growth in the 4 years to December 2013 was 139,000 jobs, Mr Parker. To meet that full 4.5-year Treasury forecast, another 35,000 jobs needs to be created over the next 6 months, which was not unrealistic given that 52,000 new jobs were created in the 6 months to December. This is further evidence that the government's economic program is working.
Question number 4, Dr Russell Norman.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Tertiary Education, Skills and Employment and asks, by how much did wages and salaries increase